regrets that last glass of wine last night. Thank you for coming on a Saturday morning and joining me. I'm here, my name is Ben Tram. I'm here to share my stories, building Clout, my last startup. Some of the things we did that were cool, and some of the things that weren't so cool. Before that, a little background on me. I think we need batteries in this thing. There it is. Okay. So I was born in Vietnam. I left when I was a 1-year-old in 1975, moved to the US. My aunt lived with us, and she bought us an IBM XT computer in 1986 for herself. And she let me play with it from time to time. One thing led to another. Next thing I know, I'm hacking together bulletin board systems at the age of 13, which led me to a computer science degree at UC Irvine in California. After university, I wanted to do something fun and cool, so I joined a small team of programmers to make a Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 game. This was during the first .com boom, so as my friends were getting rich, I was getting fan mail from 13-year-old boys. So that's when I decided, hey, I needed to go build internet software. I failed 3 times before founding Clout in 2008. With Clout, we managed to raise $40 million from Kleiner Perkins, which is a top-tier venture capital firm in Silicon Valley. We had an exit in 2014. I left and started 500 Startups Vietnam. We're a seed stage fund focused in investing in Vietnam-connected startups. Since August of last year, we've made 10 investments. We hope to do many more over the next few years. Enough about me. So this is a picture from a Wired article about Clout. It says, my Clout score is 86. I've got millions of followers. You better fix my cable or everyone's gonna know about it. So what is Clout? You know, with the internet being invented in the 1990s, that created an explosion of web pages and created a need for a company like Google to categorize web pages so that people can search for it. With the invention of social, there was an explosion of content as well, but this time you can trace that content back to someone created that piece of content. So as much as Google tried to organize the world's information into web pages, we were trying to organize the world's information to people. We wanted to measure the influence of every single person online and build a reputational system for the entire web. So in this new world order, it wasn't about big business. It was about the little guy. You know, no longer did you have to be a celebrity, good looking, living in San Francisco or Washington, D.C., if you're sharing relevant, engaging content that people really enjoyed, you could be empowered. You can be acknowledged in the world. We were trying to democratize influence through content. At least that was the plan. So how does it work? So we're known for our Clout score, which is a numeric number, 1 to 100, on how influential you are. We believe influence is the ability to drive action. Being active doesn't necessarily mean you're influential. So you can sign up on any of the 15 social networks that we cover. Once you create content, we basically collect all the signals that on how people react to it. And we use that to create your score. Then we analyze all that content to determine the topics you're influential about. So I think, go back. So all told, that's about 12 billion signals that we analyze every day, which translates to about 200 terabytes. This is the consumer version of Clout. This is my Clout page. It's a measure tab. It allows me to look at my influence over time and tells me like what's working, what's not. in terms of engagement. This is the Explore tab. This helps me grow my influence, engage my audience. So on this tab, I'm able to discover the newest trending content around the topics that I care about. For example, this is all the newest trending content around venture capital and all the most influential people on this topic, so I can interact with them and engage with them. And we also have other tools such as publishing tools, when you should publish so that your audience just maximize the engagement with your audience, as well as who to mention so you can engage other audiences. So it's very consumer focused, helping people engage and grow their audiences. Brands also have this. It's a different looking tool. So besides the consumer, we also built an API which allows anybody to take our data and include it in their products. So companies like Salesforce, we're taking our data and including it into their platform so that salespeople can prioritize their leads and help close them. Microsoft Bing was using our data to include in their search results. So anytime the search results included people, you could see the cloud data and figure out, hey, is this person trustworthy? All told, we were hit about 3 billion times a day for data. Non-tech companies also like cloud. We had companies like Cathay Pacific and American Airlines, which gave you free access to the business lounge if you had a high enough cloud score. We had companies like Gilt, an e-commerce site, allow shoppers to use their cloud score as their discount. We had car companies like Audi, who gave away cars to use for the weekend for people with high cloud scores in automotive. At the peak of it, I think in 2012, we were getting about 20,000 signups a day and about 150 articles written about us every day around the world. Then in 2013, at the end of 2013, when we weren't looking, a company called Lithium Technologies expressed interest in buying us. A few months later, we were sold for $230 million, and I stayed on for a few months to help the team's transition, then I left. So in the press, when you hear about a successful exit, rarely do you hear about the failure stories. Believe me, there were a lot of mistakes that we made in the 7 years that we built this company. When you build a startup, it's really just a series of wins and losses. And over time, hopefully those wins are a lot more than those losses, and you're learning along the way. These are some of the lessons I've learned. So I believe startups are really hard. In 2008, when I was a little more naive, just thinking that I could build something this big, now that I think about it, it's like, yeah, I was pretty naive. In 2008, when my co-founder came to me and told me about this project, it took me about 30 seconds to realize, wow, this is huge, and decide to sell my car, rent out my place, and move to San Francisco. Little did I know, a few months later, the worst recession in 65 years was about to unfold. I ended up working a year and a half without pay, and it took us an entire year to close our seed round. We had 20 angel investors. It's like herding cats. Startups, even with seed funding, the failure rate's around 80-90%. And that's not even counting the startups that don't even get to seed funding. So it's really risky. So you got to do things to remove risk for yourself. Try non-tech things to validate your market and your idea. Another way you can remove risk is stay your corporate job. Stay as long as you can. Work on that startup in the evenings, on the weekends with your friends. Ideas are really easy. Executing them successfully is really hard. What you see here is us on stage at a show called South by Southwest. This is a tech show in the US, one of the biggest ones. In 2007, that's where Twitter launched. In 2008, a company called Foursquare was the big winner there. Well, 2009 was going to be our year. We were going to build our product, enter this competition, win, and unleash clout to the world. That was the plan. So we locked ourselves in a room for a month, worked 16 hours a day, built the beta version, and we had a lot of hopes. And we put all our eggs in one basket, on this competition. And when the event came, the night before, we stayed in the hotel room and rehearsed and practiced. The competition was at 8 o'clock in the morning. For those who don't know South by Southwest, it's nothing but a big, big party with lots of drinking. So we were the first ones up. We entered the room. There's 5 people in the audience. I'm very happy that this room's a little bit more full, but there's 5 people in the audience. On top of this, we had 2 minutes to pitch, and the mic would cut out, in and out. So needless to say, we didn't win. Actually, we felt like someone punched us in the stomach. In these ecosystems around the world, it's not just Vietnam. There's events, there's hackathons, there's competitions. Besides Echelon this weekend, most of them don't matter. You should, as a startup, really just focus on building your company. So we had a lot of copycats. In 2012, we started seeing clout for apps, so clout for dating, clout for music, clout for the stock market. But before those copycats, we had 2 direct competitors, PureIndex and Cred. PureIndex came out of the UK. I really liked the founder. I liked their approach to the problem in the space. And when they launched, we invited her over to the office to collaborate. We never competed on a deal, even though we were direct competitors. I think it's because they're in Europe, we're in the US. But there was another company called Cred that was really irritating. For us, when we were looking for an office, we found a really nice big office in San Francisco. There's a small company moved into a space above us, a smaller space. And after they moved in, they spent a few $1,000s so they could put their name in big letters on the building. A few weeks later, they launched a product called Cred. And Cred is short for credibility, but instead of spelling with a C, it's spelled with a K, just like clout. However, unlike clout, their score so our score goes to 1 to 100, theirs goes to 1 to 1,000. So we were joking that they installed some hidden microphones in our meeting rooms. But even with this blatant copying, the last thing we wanted to do was enter a lawsuit. That's the last thing any startup wants to do, is enter a lawsuit. Instead, this lame copycat just fueled our teams and really motivated them to crush them and out-execute them. And that's what we did. So the lesson here is, if you have competitors or even copycats, that validates your space. That's a good thing. And for the right team, it might just motivate them. It might motivate you to win. So in the US, when you think about clout, number one, it's really short. You talk about clout, it conjures a couple emotions up, pride and strength. Nowadays, there's a lot of top-level domains to choose from. But when we started Clout, you either had the .com or the .net. You had either the .com or nothing, basically. So we had the Clout.net, and Clout.com was taken by another entrepreneur in San Francisco. So we reached out via Twitter and offered him $4,000. He refused. A few weeks later, we offered $6,000. He said, no, I'm going to build a reputational website. And this went back and forth for a few months, and it went up to $10,000. And my co-founder had a great idea. Let's wait until he checks in somewhere. So he checks into a restaurant, and we go to the bank, withdraw $10,000 cash, put it in a bag, go to the restaurant where he and his friends are having dinner, put the bag of cash, interrupt them, put the bag of cash in front of them, and say, we're never going to stop until you sign over that domain. And that night you signed over to using GoDaddy. So I think your name, a great name is not completely needed, but a bad name can ruin you, like these two other ones. So another reason for our success was our good partnership with Twitter. So in 2008, the big public companies that you know now, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, they were nothing but startups. And here we were building our company on top of their data. So we knew we had to, if we were going to take from them, we had to give back. And that's what we did. Using their data, we're helping users create more engaging content, thus driving more engagement back to the platforms and more traffic. So that partnership was not accidental. When we were looking for an office, my broker showed us this building you see here and said, hey, this is Twitter's building. They're on the 5th and 6th floor. But the only space available was the basement. We said, yeah, we'll take it. We just want to be physically close to Twitter. Being physically close to Twitter allowed us to just bug them. We bugged them every day. And they gave us access to the Twitter data. We were the first consumers of the Firehose as well as the API. We also growth hacked our sales with this partnership. So anytime someone famous or someone important, like the CMO of Virgin Airlines, checked into Twitter's headquarters, we would message them and say, hey, after your meeting, come by. We got to show you something really cool. And that's how we landed meetings with the CMOs of the biggest companies in the world: Disney, Nike, Starbucks. So I think good partnerships are critical, and they can make or break your startup. This one's a little humiliating. So, we were putting a number next to people's faces. And that triggers emotions of ego and identity. So you either really love us or you really hate us. And there's certain people in the press that really hated us. We had certain people in the press spend 90% of the time trying to discredit or shame us. One of them called us socially evil. Another person called us the internet equivalent of herpes, believe it or not. In 2011, we wanted to make our score more comprehensive, deeper in science. We wanted to value the quality of events or actions over the quantity. For example, when Justin Bieber tweets about his mom, millions of teenage girls and probably thousands of older women collectively say, oh, well, we fixed that. After the score changed, Barack Obama's score was finally higher than Justin Bieber's. But it also had an unintended effect that we didn't look into. Millions of normal people's scores also dropped. Those score drops basically launched a new hashtag called Occupy Clout. People were really pissed off that their scores dropped. They were rabid. The proliferation of clout scores also made it very hard for us to manage how it was used. So stories like a professor in Florida using clout score grading students in his marketing class appeared, and that just drove further hatred for the score. Salesforce started using the clout score for job interviews for marketing candidates. People were, texting us and tweeting us or emailing us saying they couldn't get jobs because their clout scores were too low. Besides that Occupy Clout hashtag, we received death threats. We basically became the internet's punching bag. In hindsight, we should have messaged the score change a little bit more carefully to our users and our customers. And for businesses using the clout score, we should have coached them on appropriate uses. Nothing could have helped some of the press though. I mean, the press are here going to be sometimes just hateful, and that's okay. We knew we were on a mission to empower people and give people a voice. So the lesson here is, sometimes you just got to ignore the naysayers and just focus on your customers, listen to them, and message them very carefully. Ignore the bad press. So for you founders here, I think you got to realize sometimes you're doing something else, something that no one else has ever done before. And that's okay. And it's okay to stumble through the whole process like we did. So I'm going to leave you here with a cartoon from Rob Cunningham. It says, "Whoa, cowboy, she's completely out of your league. She has a 71 in quail." Thanks for having me.